Oh, a sight for sore eyes. Isn't this a beautiful sight? They finally removed the nameplate for Tony Gonzalez and Eric Swalwell, by the way, from their congressional offices, or I guess I should say their former congressional offices. And it feels like just yesterday I was right there in that very spot telling Tony Gonzalez's office that he needed to resign for being a sexual predator. So bye-bye, so long, don't let the door hit you.
They're going to need to do some fumigating in those places, too.
Where the good Lord split you. Here's what I'm going to say. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. I am Sara Gonzales. You can find me all over social media at Sara Gonzales TX. It's like do all the things. Go to AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. Shop some. I'm wearing Freedom Fighter on my lips, by the way, right now. Go get you some. Here's what I will say to that, Stephen. And then I want to get to what I was originally thinking, but you just brought up a great point. Do not, whatever you do, use a black light in Tony Gonzalez's office. I'm told that can find all sorts of body fluids, and I'm just saying, you're not going to like what you find, so just don't do it, okay? Now, it's just kind of like shocking to me how many people are just simps for taxes, for like the government taking their money. It was wild. Yesterday was tax day, obviously. You guys who watch every day know that Stephen and I, of course, we protest every year by wearing our taxes are gay shirts. And so we wore the shirts and we talked about it on the show. And then I woke up and I was in a bad mood because I knew that it was tax day, because Stephen reminded me, because Stephen always reminds me, but he doesn't tell me how much we pay because he knows that that's going to piss me off. But I'm already pissed off because I'm like, I know we're paying way too much. I'm told that it's lower because of the Trump administration, but it's still way too damn much. The fact that I pay anything is way too much. So I posted on X that taxes are gay and retarded, and it was wild to hear some of the people's responses to that. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you disagree? You disagree? You like paying the government your hard-earned money? Like, this is one thing we should all be able to agree on. But no, people just want to pretend like giving the government, they like it. They like, hey, please, government, take my money, please. Govern me harder, daddy, because Orange Man bad, please. Is like, well, I hope you realize it's like, I can't stand this guy, Hunter Bonner. He's this total troll in Texas. He considers himself way more important than he actually is. I hope you realize that the founders of this country believed that some taxes were necessary in order to have a functioning society. So were the founders of our country gay and retarded as well? No.
Can I say something? She's completely wrong. Income tax didn't start till 1913.
Well, it's a he, but yes, other than that.
Whatever. Who knows? She's
mean,
wrong.
he acts pretty gay, so we might as well just call him she at this point. He's behaving like a drama queen, so we might as well, okay? But yes, you're correct. And they talked about taxation with representation, right? So you could also say that, but I just wanted to be clear. Like, no, I'm not saying the founders of our country are gay and retarded. I wasn't going to go there, Stephen, because I don't actually find like arguing with some of these people to be productive. I'd rather just mock them and shame them. So I did. But, they also have this like the roads argument. What about the roads? Roads without potholes are pretty cool though. Huh? Well, what would we do if we didn't have the government taking care of the roads? Which, like, we could figure it out. We're a pretty advanced civilization. I think someone could figure it out.
Almost like any of the not public roads that are private, like toll roads, those are just shitholes. You can't ride on those, right?
Right. And like all that's really happening is that you have big bloated bureaucracy, and then the government will give the contract to a private company anyway to come help them, typically in some of these places. And sometimes you run the risk that they spend way too much money to give out the government contract because they're giving it to like their buddy or their uncle's company or whatever. It's all a total freaking scam, okay? But the thing that completely undercuts the simping for roads bullshit argument is the fact that all of the money The money is being wasted on all this other useless crap that we don't want or need. So like take the roads. Okay. How about let's talk about free sex change operations for homeless illegal aliens. I know I'm going to repeat that because I feel like that is a lot to process. There's a lot going on there. Free sex change operations for homeless illegal aliens. I really wish that I was telling you that was like an SNL skit. I really wish, but unfortunately, it's not. California provides sex change procedures to homeless illegal aliens. There it is, right there in the City Journal. It feels like this is a Babylon Bee article. No, it's actually real life.
Illegal immigration is exacerbating San Francisco's homeless drug crisis.
Take care, guys. Be safe out here.
The shelters are packed with undocumented migrants from all over the world. And more people like Lisa are confidently coming forward to say they're taking advantage of all the taxpayer-funded benefits to meet their unique needs.
She feels undocumented and she feels safe here.
With the help of a Spanish translator, Lisa says he's staying in a homeless shelter, identifies as transgender, and is undergoing hormone therapy to become more like a biological woman after entering the U.S. illegally from Honduras.
I have to laugh so I don't cry. That's not just one isolated case either. Okay. There's another one that I'm about to, I just can't. There's another one that I'm about to show you that this other illegal actually got free fake titties, big girls, big boobies, courtesy of none other than the governor of California, Gavin Newsom.
What is your name again?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
This is the first time I live in a shelter.
Yeah. A lot of Latino here, so definitely some are migrants or undocumented.
I think that. And me as a trans woman,
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Were you able to get the hormones or,
Yeah, I did that with my doctor.
So Medi-Cal, you got the breast implants?
Yes.
Wow, taxpayer funded. So here in California, they gave you the breast implant here.
Yes.
Free.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Do you feel like that's a good benefit for other migrants here in California?
Yeah, even though you're undocumented, you can get it.
Did you do bottom too?
Wonderful.
Bottom surgery?
I'm waiting for that one.
Wow, you're waiting
He's
for
waiting.
bottom surgery. Okay. Are you happy with the results?
Yes.
That is a very permanent decision to chop your dick off. So I guess he's waiting. He's going to give that a little bit more time. He's going to let the boobies just settle in before he decides whether he wants to cut his penis off, I guess. But I'm sorry, life isn't fair. What about just a regular American citizen who maybe she identifies as a woman with bigger boobs? I can't go get that for free. What's the world coming to? When an American woman can't get a boob job, a real one, before an illegal trans biological male gets it for free. What is wrong with this world? Life's not fair. So this is the type of thing that your tax dollars are going towards. It's not even the roads. All right? Shut up about the roads. This kind of thing is what's happening. This was all made possible back in 2024. Gavin Newsom extended free health care to 700,000 illegal immigrants despite record budget deficit, which his answer to that would, of course, just be, we'll just raise the taxes. It's totally fine. So we are seeing more and more about the waste and fraud and abuse in the system that your hard-earned money is going towards, not the roads. I'm so tired of hearing about it. Here's another one we just found out about, revealed by Kentucky auditor Allison Ball.
Kentucky paid $836 million to managed care organizations for the same Medicaid beneficiaries whose coverage was also being paid for by another state. To be clear, this is definitively waste because one state's payment to an MCO covers all health care of all Medicaid recipients. So when two or more states are paying MCOs for the same person, only the MCO, not the Medicaid recipient, benefits. But that's not all we found. In conducting the last 3 audits required by the Single Audit Act, we have revealed a plethora of problems that show Kentucky is a target-rich environment for waste, fraud, and abuse in the executive branch. These problems include dead people remaining on Kentucky Medicaid, multiple people using the same Social Security number to obtain Medicaid, ineligible non-citizens receiving Medicaid benefits.
That's where your hard-earned money that you just worked on for so long, so many hours of work to take care of your families, that's where it's actually going. And on top of that, I don't have to spend much time reminding you guys all of the Somali fraud in Minnesota, which of course which Governor Tim Walz allowed to happen for years. They all knew that it was happening. It was just a nice little slush fund, for the illegals and in some cases legals, but committing illegal actions. Now, I'll give you even more. Vice President J.D. Vance, the other night when he was up on stage, shared several more examples.
We have entire companies that sell medical devices. They sell prosthetic knees and they sell prosthetic hips. And you know that they've received hundreds of millions, some of them billions of dollars in government funds, and they've never shipped a single product. They're just set up by fraudsters. And there's so many of them, and many of them haven't. There are like over 100 of these companies that haven't shipped a single product. Okay, I'll give you another example of fraud. So this ridiculous situation with Somali fraudsters in Minneapolis, in the Minneapolis area. So you have a program that exists to help autistic children get the resources they need to help their parents, find them a ride to school, or if they need after-school support to make sure their parents have what they need. And that program has been defrauded by Somali fraudsters who will go in, who will say that we have 3 kids, every single one of them is autistic, there's no verification from the state of Minnesota, so that family will receive tens of thousands of dollars from the taxpayer, and then the autistic children in Minneapolis who actually do need those services, the money's not there anymore because it's been taken away by fraudsters.
And I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for saying taxes are gay and retarded. Like it is such an insult to the hardworking American people that all of this is happening. And there's no like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should figure out how to get you guys some of this extra money back because no, it's just take. Now, thankfully, Vice President J.D. Vance's task force, it's like the anti-fraud task force that he created, they are taking action to shut this down and punish these people responsible. They've already worked here. So they suspended 447 hospices in Los Angeles as part of that crackdown. And they had $600 million in fraudulent spending. So I just want you to think for a second, okay? How many potholes California could have filled with that money? But you don't have to think too hard because we've done the math for you. All right. On average, repairing a single pothole can range from $100 to $300. Let's take the high end. All right. We'll take the high end. We'll call it 300. 2 million potholes. It's probably not even that many potholes in California. So are you seeing the problem yet? The money isn't going to your damn potholes. It's not even going there. Now, I would say that this point sums up this issue quite beautifully.
Let me tell you why this is such a big deal in terms of the American people. When you have a culture that defers to fraud and allows it to stand, then you spend more money. When you spend more money, that then mandates, based on your political philosophy, an increase in taxes. So if you increase taxes on hardworking families, now they're faced with the choice of putting gas in their car, paying diapers for their children. This is a real cost that families have to go through, all because fraud wasn't detected. And it also sows distrust, because you have people who are trying to survive on WIC or SNAP or government benefits, and they look to their left and they see one of their neighbors who's a fraudster riding around in a Benz buying as much food as they can. So when you don't have a culture of accountability, when you don't have the type of leadership that Auditor Ball and her colleagues across the country have, you sow distrust, you have discord in the public, and you also have a culture of tax increases, which takes money out of the hands of the American people.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Hello? Is knock, knock. Anyone there? It's very clear. It's very clear. By the way, it's very clear that this country, like, part of its foundation was protesting taxes. I'll just put it that way. All right. But still, you have retarded rhinos and Democrats alike who don't care, I guess just really love getting stolen from. I guess just really love legal extortion. They just really love the theft of their own hard-earned money. And actually, when it comes to the Democrats, they love the fraud because it's part of the plan. It's part of their master plan to sow this distrust, which will get them to their end game, which we all knew is to get rid of Donald Trump. Let me give you Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman.
Because if we wanted to eliminate abuse and fraud, we'd eliminate the president of the United States from the office right now and the rest of the sycophants in his administration that are allowing him to do so many illegal things. So,
like, real okay, wow. I'm complaining about lower taxes, ma'am. Why are you talking about Donald Trump? Please do something productive. You guys are all evil criminals. I really can't stand them. All right, make sure that you smash the like button, or you can gently tap it. We all appreciate a gentle tapping from time to time. We're not here to shame how you hit the button. Just hit it. Just hit it. It feels good. Hit it. And comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us because we are preaching truth here on Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Make sure also to go over to @SaraGonzalesTX and subscribe there as well. We are posting exclusive content, which, by the way, we have got some fun stuff we are doing next week. I am so excited about with our investigations. So make sure you go over there and subscribe @SaraGonzalesTX. On that note, by the way, we won't be doing shows Monday and Tuesday of next week. And before you guys go in the comments and you're like, oh, Sarah's off again. No, it's because I'm literally working on all of the H-1B stuff all day. That's why. So actually, it's much harder work out in the field anyway. So just saying, I'm working hard for you guys to save America. The least you could do is make sure you go subscribe to my channel. It's totally for free. Okay. Want to thank our sponsor of this segment, PreBorn. So PreBorn is just such a blessing in my life. I'm so proud to partner with them because what they do is actually quite simple. They take a woman who has an unplanned pregnancy. She's scared. She's being told by people that she can't do it alone. It's impossible. It will make her life too difficult. And just do the easy thing and just go over to Planned Parenthood and just, let them just do what they do. And you're never going to regret a thing. That's, of course, not true. They're told a bunch of lies. And when they go into a PreBorn network clinic, they actually are shown the truth on ultrasound. And when that woman sees her baby in real life growing inside of her and hears the heartbeat, you guys who are parents know this, the first time you hear that, it's just like a life-changing moment. In that moment, she is much more likely to choose life. This April, we are working hard to have 11,000 babies saved, and you can help make that possible by sponsoring ultrasounds. $28 provides one ultrasound, $140 sponsors 5 ultrasounds. That's 5 babies' lives that can be saved because of you. So if you have any donation helps. $28, if it's just $28, just know you're saving a baby's life. And there's nothing more noble than that. PreBorn.com/Sarah. That is PreBorn.com/Sarah. I was just thinking, I'm old enough to remember that time that Democrats spent like the first year of Donald Trump's presidency 2.0 pushing to release the Epstein files because they told you that if they were to be believed, they cared so much about sexual assault victims. They cared so much about survivors. They really, really care about women who have been assaulted. All right, they have the moral high ground on this after all. I mean, it is all we heard about. Now, curiously, Not under the Biden administration. It was like this brand new poof. They magically, overnight, they had morals. Well, it turns out, I regret to inform you, that's all total manufactured bullshit. Ask me how I know. Because they all knew Eric Swalwell was a sexual predator, yet they said nothing. And I don't think that I know we've talked about it the last several days. I don't think it can be talked about enough until all of these people who were complicit are exposed. So let's go down the list of what we now know. Democrat Representative Ro Khanna from California, he was the poster child for releasing the Epstein files. He was the guy who was like leading the charge on that bill to release the Epstein files. I want to play for you a clip of Ro Khanna talking about that in February.
We need to ask ourselves, are we in America going to have elite accountability? Are we going to call on rich and powerful people who broke the law or cavorted with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile? Are we going to call them to account? Are we going to have prosecutions for billionaires who went to this island and either raped underage girls or saw underage girls being raped and didn't say anything? Are we going to have investigations? I'll tell you what this is about. It's not just about the 1,200 survivors. It's about 2 tiers of justice in America. It's about people who can accumulate wealth and power and don't have to care about the rest of America.
I actually couldn't agree more. I agree with so many of his points, especially, are we going to have elite accountability? I completely agree. We should. How about the people who saw or heard something with regard to Eric Swalwell and didn't say anything? Because, well, Ro, I mean, if I can call you Ro, you seem to be an elite member of Congress. I mean, if we are to believe that Congress is still an elite position, you, my friend, are an elite member of Congress, and you seemed to know a whole lot about what was going on with Eric Swalwell, yet apparently said nothing.
Why were Democrats on Capitol Hill silent for so long when, in many cases, we're learning some aspects of this behavior, alleged behavior of Swalwell's, was an open secret, quote unquote?
Well, look, I had heard rumors that he was a womanizer, and that's one of the reasons that I endorsed Tom Steyer in the race and didn't go along with a lot of the other California establishment that was lining up behind Swalwell. But it's why I clearly was not going to endorse Swalwell. And I was surprised that so many California establishment folks were supporting him. The whole party was coalescing around him until a week ago.
I love that he's like blame shifting. I was surprised all the other establishment California, political officials. Well, I already knew. I had heard the rumors for years. So you knew enough not to endorse the guy, to protect you want to preserve your own political future. But you didn't bother raising those concerns publicly. That is so crazy. That is so strange for someone who really just cares about the elite having accountability. That seems odd for someone who seems to have a new set of values and morals once they think that they can get Donald Trump on something. So it turns out that these rumors were known for so long. The Democrats are just now starting to come out and reveal, stupidly, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we knew. It was kind of an open secret. We knew. Now, bestie, Rubin Gallego, Swalwell's bestie, still tried to cover up the fact that people knew. He's really bad at this, and I want him to keep running his mouth on this, because he is going to run his mouth into a total trap, and it's all going to be exposed eventually. That I can almost guarantee. But he tried to cover up the fact that people knew, and then things turned south, because it turns out he's very dumb, and he just accidentally spilled the beans on all these rumors.
Swalwell had called you his best friend. You have never asked him about any of the rumors that have been swirling around Democratic politics of his inappropriate behavior?
I did.
Okay.
Look,
And? Yes?
We knew each other differently for everyone else. My family and his family were as close as it gets.
Okay.
Our kids were in baseball camp together. You know,
right?
We had dinner together as a family. It was entirely different, I think, what people understand. But when there was rumors going around a couple weeks ago, not of the folks and whatever in the San Francisco Chronicle, I did ask him, and he lied to me.
You said you never saw these allegations.
No, I had no knowledge.
You had no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So did you ever, what about any sort of position that he may have put himself in? Any compromising position? Was he drinking excessively? Was he around younger women? Did you see any of that?
I didn't see that, but look, we all heard rumors in Washington, D.C. about Eric Swalwell for many years. And my family, again, was with him all the time, with his wife, with his kids. And we saw a different side of Eric that I never saw.
Well, what were the rumors? What were the rumors that you heard? What were the rumors?
It was flirty. That was
now
flirty.
there are rumors.
And that was when?
Right? There were not rumors.
We've heard that. We've heard that throughout.
Senator, you just said. Thank you so much. I want to clarify because in the beginning,
I know we'll go back there.
In the beginning, you said when you first heard these rumors a few weeks ago, that's when you called him. Then you said you've heard these rumors for years. So which one is it, Senator?
So I heard rumors of him being flirty.
And that wasn't an issue enough for you to not trust him to watch your kids or be close with him?
Because, you hear this, and then when you're close to somebody and you know his wife, you see this. You see that relationship. You know that, it maybe just isn't true.
Have you asked him about it prior to this few weeks?
I asked him about it a few weeks ago when it started coming up online.
This guy I keep running your mouth, Rubin. Keep running your mouth. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and say allegedly here. This is what was told to me by people that I know on Capitol Hill is that allegedly Eric Swalwell has a foot fetish. That's what I was told, which I don't understand the foot fetish thing. I have a shoe fetish, which I totally understand. I don't understand the foot fetish, but take that for what it is. Total creep, total pervert, rapist, and all alleged, including the foot fetish. So it was like a known secret. Apparently, everyone's talking about the rumors. Everyone's known the rumors for years. Well, they didn't know the rumors until they did know the rumors. And then when they did know the rumors, they were just rumors. And don't worry, it was just that he was a womanizer and flirty. And they just didn't think anything of it. They just thought that's Eric being Eric. It's just Eric, he's a little flirty. I'm sure that that's how the story goes. I am sure that that's not, just something that they were all in on. And it was such a known secret amongst thieves, apparently, according to Representative Sam Liccardo from California, whoever the hell that is, and California gubernatorial candidate, former HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra.
I first heard about the rumors when Swalwell announced his run for governor in November, and knew some political consultants who talked about what we call oppo files, these opposition records that political consultants compile, talking about Swalwell's sexual misconduct. At that time, nobody was talking about rape, as we're hearing now. It was not sexual assault, but clearly sexual misconduct, abuse of his position. And there's no question, I think, as Senator Gallego said, rumors about that were going on for many, many years.
What had you heard, Secretary?
I think many of us had heard the rumors as well, never seen any corroboration, but certainly I think the word had gone out.
I just don't. How do you got to think this one through, guys. You're saying that you knew about sexual misconduct. Imagine just really, let's hone in on what Sam Liccardo said. Again, apparently he's a representative in California. I knew about the sexual misconduct, not rape, but I knew about the sexual misconduct. And then he goes on to say something that is so abuse of power. So you knew that they rose to the level of abusing his office, which you want to talk about a Me Too situation. That's it. And still, they said nothing. They all knew. It was like the biggest open secret in DC, maybe. Now, be that as it may, apparently the only person in Congress who knew nothing, maybe because she was too drunk, maybe she doesn't remember, I don't know, but Nancy Pelosi very, very emphatically saying, I knew nothing.
Some Republicans and others are saying that Democrats turned kind of a blind eye, that they knew what he was up to or what the allegations
That is absolutely positive. And it's true that they may say that, but it is absolutely not true.
You had no idea?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I had none whatsoever.
None. I had none whatsoever. My name is Nancy Pelosi. I had no idea that Eric Swalwell was such a pervert. I just never knew. I drank my vodka and I went home. I just never knew about this.
I guess is how you can maybe chalk that up. And you know what? It might be true. She might have been drunk in that interview right there and just had a really bad memory. But let me tell you how deep the rot gets. It's not just the criminals in Congress. The press, the left-wing hacks in the press knew this. Get this, guys. All the way back in 2019, this is from Democratic strategist Michael Trujillo. One note on the Swalwell stuff. This isn't confirmed, but a reporter with Politico was working on verifying the rumors on Swalwell when he was running for president. That reporter is no longer with the publication. 2 days before he was scheduled to sit down with this reporter, Swalwell dropped out of the race. The energy disappeared to potentially take him out. The victims, if they were even willing to go on the record, never did. He slithered back to his safe House seat. December 2025 was too early to take down Swalwell. We had to wait till his paperwork was all in running for governor March 2026, so the head of the snake could be chopped off and he had no safe House seat to slither back to this time. Hate the strategy, fine, but for folks unsure if this would work, we had to make sure he couldn't get away like he did in 2020. What? Imagine how many women would have been saved if they had just actually spilled the beans, if it had not been a political play. That's insane. How many people could Democrats and the media have saved if they just spoke up? Now, I want to tie this up before we have to take a break here. Rubin, Gallego, there's a little rumor about just how friendly Rubin, he mentions, our families are very, very close. Our families are very, very close. We hang out together all the time. Well, actually, if the rumors are true, they are very, very close. Caroline Wren over on X tags TMZ and says, "Hi, TMZ. When I worked on the Arizona Senate race, there was one piece of oppo we could never confirm, which was that Eric Swalwell had a threesome with Rubin Gallego and his wife on their wedding night. And there was video. If you track down the video, I'd like my 100K, please." So apparently TMZ, they're opening up this DC bureau, which I, for one, love. I can't stand TMZ. I don't pay attention to their content. Now, TMZ DC, very interesting to me. So when they launched the DC Bureau, they offered $100,000 for scandals or stories on members of Congress. I love that. I actually love that. So apparently a threesome on his wedding night, and there's a video, and we do know that Swalwell was at Gallego's wedding because there was a new report revealing Eric Swalwell and Rubin Gallego splurged campaign cash in Puerto Rico during island wedding. You shouldn't need me to tell you that spending campaign funds on personal expenses, that's a no-no. That's a no. In fact, it turns out that it's a federal crime. And Swalwell's political operation made a pair of expenses at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve Puerto Rico, totaling $1,522.11 on June 7th, 2021. Gallego's operation spent $2,000 at the nearby Fairmont El San Juan that same day. And just for good measure, California Democrat Congresswoman Linda Sanchez, also in attendance at the event per Politico, spent campaign funds at the Hyatt Regency totaling $1,809.79 on May 18th of 2021. She spent an additional $540 for a lodging deposit at the hotel. And it's really disgusting that this is actually happening. We need accountability. These people need to go to jail, have the book thrown at them. They're all criminals. All right. Before we go, I want to remind you guys, if you have not yet gotten your copy of An Unholy Alliance by Dr. Michael Youssef, you need to go get it. I'm actually talking to someone here in a bit that is we're going to talk about how radical progressivism is in these schools and also how an Islamist invasion is happening. And this is what the book is about. It's about how it's happening in your public schools. It's about how it's happening in your communities. And they've actually partnered up, the red and the green. They call it a red-green alliance. The red and the green have partnered up to dismantle Western civilization because it turns out they don't agree on much, but they do agree in dismantling us. So it's really, really great. And it doesn't just talk about what's happening. It lays out a 6-point action plan with real practical ways to protect young minds from this growing indoctrination. Really important to make sure that we know how to protect our kids and defend truth. So make sure you pick this up, An Unholy Alliance by Dr. Michael Youssef at Amazon or wherever books are sold. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Public schools are just trying to make your kids trans, gay, and retarded. They just are. That's just what they're doing, okay? They are openly pushing their, I would say LGBT plus whatever, but I was told there's a new one. Stephen, remember, because I don't want you to call me a bigot. It's MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+. Did I get that, Stephen?
Oh, I'm not the expert. Why are you asking me?
Well, you said I was not being inclusive last time.
That's
so
true.
I
did say that. Yeah. That looks. Let's just throw some more
two-spirit in there. It's got the two-spirit in there, so you know that it's inclusive. Okay. So they're just pushing this agenda on these young children in order to confuse them. And I want you to let me give you an example. Maine School Administrative District. Fort Fairfield Schools reportedly held a show, I believe we have some footage of this, featuring this gay dancer and activist. This is J-Line. His profile, as you would probably expect, is filled with cross-dressing, LGBTQ propaganda, and pretty sexually charged content here. And he basically brags about how he wants to convince people to be gay because somehow that will make them overcome adversity or something. I don't know. Don't make sense of it, okay? But here is J-Line.
Hey there, I'm J-Line. I'm a New York City-based recording artist, performer, advocate, and have been using my music and career to not only inspire people to be themselves, but also stand up for what they believe in. The BU Concert is a 45-minute hybrid of music, dance, lecture, and Q&A. During the show, I talk about what it's been like to be a queer musician and how that has affected my life and career. I've had many ups and downs, but I never lost my drive to not only prove myself, but hopefully inspire other people to not allow limits to be set on what they themselves can achieve. Perseverance, education, and pushing through fear are what have allowed me to do what I love and connect with people in the best way I know how, through music and dance. I hope by the end of the show, you'll be energized enough to make positive changes in your own life and be 100%
Stephen getting my disgusted face.
You.
Joining me now to discuss whatever this is Ryan Walters, of course, CEO of the Teacher Freedom Alliance, former Oklahoma State Superintendent. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Hard to follow up. We'd love to have our kids understand Washington crossing the Delaware, but instead we're doing how to be a gay dancer. I mean, it's like you can't make this stuff up. It's just.
And I'm thinking too as I'm watching this, I'm like, wait, what? How does it affect your singing? Like, does being gay affect your vocal cords somehow? I don't understand why this needs to be front and center of everything you do.
Of everything you do. And that's what you've seen is you see the kids that they go to school and it's like, what are we going to learn about today? Everything is through the lens of, again, I don't even want to know the coding there of how many different letters they are now. But it's just, guys, how about American history? How about math? How about some things that actually will help you somewhat in life instead of shoving this agenda down our kids' throats every single step of the way? But it never ceases to amaze me, the extremes that they go to ensure, hey, by the way, we're going to teach you to sing or dance, or hey, but it's got to be gay. Right. You know, I mean, every time it's like, hey, but by the way, this, you got to be gay. It's all about the gay sexual orientation that they continue to push on the kids.
By the way, I was in choir. I was actually, fun fact about me, I was like a theater nerd. So I did the musicals and stuff like that. I was in the show choir. And not one time did my choir teacher or my vocal coach ever talk about actually anything related to sexuality. Ever. Nothing.
And it's really funny. I mean, I remember it wasn't that long ago that, kids, I was a teacher. I remember when, a student would meet my kids. You have kids?
Right.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you about my personal life in the classroom. Like, yeah, I do have kids.
Right.
I'm an adult, I have a life outside of being a teacher, but you see how much of the agenda is being pushed. And again, that is the grooming of our kids. We have seen them absolutely intentionally pushing this agenda. It has nothing to do with the lesson that day. But again, I mean, if they would put 1 ounce of the effort they push into trying to get kids to be gay or trans into understanding our history and reading on proficient levels, I mean, we would be crushing it right now in education. But unfortunately, they're not doing that.
Yeah, I feel like now with the new Trump administration, and you tell me because this is what you do, travel the country trying to put a stop to all of this, trying to dismantle the teachers' unions who largely are pushing this because they're all wackadoos. But it seems like there are these school districts who are still crazy, but they're trying to do it a little bit more covertly now because they see the writing on the wall, whether it's the trans issue, whether it's DEI, all of these things that they're supposed to not be doing. They're just kind of doing it in secret now, it seems.
No, that's exactly right. And again, we work with great teachers all over the country that are pushing back on this. And one of the things they tell us is, some of the instruction they get is, if a parent comes to you and complain, just kind of placate them and move on and keep doing it anyway. And hey, don't highly publicize it. Don't post it on social media, but we're still going to do these things. And again, we're in a situation where the left isn't just going to back away. And this is what I think is so important for folks to hear. We have to win this fight for the future of America. They're not going to go quietly into the night. I was just talking to a higher ed professor with somebody the other day you understand they're still doing the DEI. I was like, we're fighting back on it. He's like, they just call it something different, but they're still pushing the same agenda. And if we're going to get the country back, we have to understand the radical left didn't control these institutions for us to just take it right back like that. Yep. They are controlling them. They understand that they control the future if they control the next generation. And so the fight is far from over. Exactly right. Well, and they've spent decades infiltrating into these institutions so that they could do that. So to your point, it's not going to happen overnight. It took decades of work of them doing this to get there. That's right. I mean, this was a strategic plan. I mean, the strategic plan was you capture these institutions. You see all the left-wing media. You see pop culture pushing it. You see the schools, K-12 and higher ed. Between all of those things, they have quite a bit of influence on the country. And they understand that if we do this, again, it's a Marxist playbook. It is what you see, frankly, from these radical terrorist groups as well of we're going to teach these kids that America is the devil. Yep. And I'm looking at it going, it's not very different than what we've seen from the teachers' unions here in America of you teach them to hate the country, believe that everything here is evil. And you've got the most radicalized generation we've ever seen. And again, now we're dealing with it where, just trying to have a conversation about somebody that there's only two genders elicits these almost violent responses from them because it is an indoctrination of a generation systemically. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this, but here in the state of Texas, we just had our State Board of Education meetings, and they had these radical activists show up who were in favor of Islam in schools, and they want to whitewash the entire thing. You're not allowed to talk about how they are radical terrorists, that there's radical Islam involves terrorism. You're not allowed to talk. Instead, they complained that, and I know you're nodding, so I know you saw this, but instead they complained, I did my Texas scorecard episode on this week. Instead, they complained that we weren't talking about the positive contributions of Islam that happened here in the state of Texas, such as the architecture of the Alamo, because the Spanish got their architecture from, I was just like, what? What is happening? And by the way, the only positive contribution that you can cite to the state of Texas is but what about the architecture? I don't know, man. I think maybe you're into the wrong ideology. But don't mention the Bible in school. Right? I mean, it's exactly. And again, I would love to take every student to Washington, D.C. and go, let's go to Jefferson Memorial. Let's read the quotations that those architects said, well, hey, this is some of the most important stuff he said. Abraham Lincoln, everybody else. Look at how many times they reference God's providence. Look at how many times they talk about God's judgment. They talk about ensuring the morality of the people. Heaven forbid that we actually have that as part of our history education. And they try to force in things that didn't happen. I mean, one time I literally did an interview with a reporter from PBS that tried to argue with me. Well, how do you know Jefferson was talking about God? What if they were talking about like a Hindu God or a Muslim God? I go, there was literally no one in America when he said that was like, are you talking about, Vishnu or something? No, they knew they were talking about God. But again, that is the type of corruption we've seen in our education system to say, no, as a matter of fact, we're going to block out things that are undeniable. You cannot deny the role that Judeo-Christian values played in American history. But we're going to inject things that literally didn't happen, weren't there, and again, push the youth to believe things that simply aren't true.
Right. And instead, we're going to parade J-Line. Stephen, I think you have these final pictures of J-Line, and I would just say, yeah, I saw it, so you had to.
Oh, boy.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy, Ryan, that they're putting in front of young children. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? I mean, they are getting the results that they intend to. They are absolutely getting the societal unrest they want. They are taking education and turning it into a weapon of mass destruction. And you're seeing the effects on society when we get away from the values that help forge this country and make us the greatest country in the history of the world. Not only not talking about them, not emphasizing them, but going the polar opposite and saying we're going to actually champion the most radical ideology this nation has ever seen, and we're going to push it on 3-year-olds. The latest training we saw from the NEA on this May Day protest, they literally had it designed for down to 3 and 4-year-olds. Yes, 3 and 4-year-olds. It is insane.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell people you're doing great work. Tell people where they can go to support you.
Thank you, Sarah. Teacherfreedom.com. Please sign up. Join the work we're doing. We're all over the country. We're getting good teachers to go fight back against the teachers' unions. We're getting them to leave through optouttoday.com. And then we're getting them to join our organization so that we can get education back to some common sense here in this country.
So the good teachers need to go join you.
Absolutely. We need the good teachers. We're over 14,000 members have joined the last few months, so we're continuing to grow very rapidly, and we're going to continue to push back on this.
I love that. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for all that you do. We'll see you next time.
Always great to be here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. All right. So before I go, I do want to remind you guys, if you have not yet gone over to BlazeTV to go check out our new show, Stu and Dave Do America, you can go do that, and you can use promo code Sarah45. I think tomorrow's the last day. I'm not totally, I would think I was told the 17th is the last day, and this is not like a crazy sales pitch. I'm pretty sure they said April 17th is the last day to use that promo code. They've never had it so low. So make sure that you don't sleep on it. You can save $45 with promo code Sarah45 over at blazetv.com/Sarah. Don't forget, one more time, I am Sara Gonzales. You can find me all over social media at Sara Gonzales TX. You can also go check me out, all over all social media platforms. You can also check me out at AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. We've got makeup. We've got liquid matte lipsticks, which are amazing. We've got bronzer. We've got skincare. Make sure, go check them out. We've also got over at SarahMerch.com. If you're more into like hats, coffee mugs, merch, SarahMerch.com. You can get the new Mass Deport or Die trucker hat. Dude, this thing is sick and it's going to get you a lot of attention. SarahMerch.com is where you can find that one. And that's it for us, but we will see you guys tomorrow.